All right, let's get you a little Orange Bloods live on this Wednesday. No Jeff Ketchum, the hardest working man in show business, is attempting to do something it's very hard for him to do, and that's take any part of any day off. Ketch, best of luck.
Chad,
Best of
I'll
luck.
bet you money within this show, if I go on Orange Bloods, he'll be on Orange Bloods posted. He's
Right?
listen, I have a sickness. He has a real sickness. He can't stay awake for a day. No
He
way.
he is a hardworking man. He's one of the great multitaskers I have ever met in my life. So
Unbelievable.
best of luck, Ketch. Whatever.
I don't know how he does these shows with you and then still is on. That's one thing. When I'm on a show with you, my focus is here. I can't really do a lot of Orange Blood stuff, but he'll write stories while he's doing shows. I mean, I don't know how he does it, man. So.
I used to. We've joked about it, but while we were doing radio together, he wrote a book. He's played online poker for probably half the hands he's ever played is while we were doing a show. It's absolutely crazy. Also, shout out to Ketchum because we just passed 7 years together doing a show, either radio or YouTube. He and I just hit the 7-year mark. That's the third longest marriage of my life, either marriage or work marriage. So congratulations, Jeff Ketchum.
You know what? It might be this week. I don't remember my exact start date with Orange Bloods, but sometime in February, Chad, 24 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 24. Nice. And I started work with Ketch, and then like a week later got married.
Whoa.
And took my honeymoon. So literally I've been married to Orange Bloods and Ketch longer than I've been married to my own wife. Yes.
I cannot say that. I cannot. Hopefully I'll never say that because that would mean, hopefully we'll never be able to say that one. But hopefully shout out to Ketch and his supposed personal day today. Hope it goes well. Jason, we got some good personal stuff to get into for Texas fans. And it is sort of ironic that you had a little information and had a little discussion about Kennedy Brown, and then Kennedy Brown ends up with a little update here. So we're going to start right there, kind of update people on where this is. If you don't know the name Kennedy Brown, you need to start putting that in your head for the 2027 class because, Jason, this is one of the big dog offensive linemen people need to know about. So lay it out for them exactly who Kennedy Brown is, and then let us know the update.
Yeah, Kennedy Brown is an offensive tackle out of Kingwood High School down in the Houston area. There was a time, Chad, it was maybe last spring, summer, he was the #1 overall prospect in the country. As I look, ESPN still has him #1 on the Rivals industry ranking. He's dropped all the way to #4 player in the country, and he got
drop.
Yeah, terrible drop. He should be ashamed of himself. But he really performed well last spring at some of these camps, including an Under Armour camp, and that really vaulted him up. And I'll be curious. The Under Armour camp it's actually in Dallas this week or this time, but it's in a couple of weeks. I'll be curious to see if he goes there. But anyways, dynamic player, offensive tackle. Nobody loves their offensive lineman recruiting portal stuff more than Texas fans because it's been an issue. That makes the offensive lineman attractive to Texas fans. So, Texas has been all in on this one for a while. But the truth be told, Chad, Texas has been playing from behind. He did visit for a junior day. I mean, a year ago. And I think that might have been the last time he was on campus. But Steve Sarkisian did go visit him before the dead period at his school. I mean, Texas is still working there. But there are a couple schools Texas is playing against. But we'll talk about it. Texas is still working. They might have an ace up their sleeve that can help them in the long run.
So, Jason, one of my favorite things about recruiting is that there are no rules when it comes to, do you want to put out a finals list? Do you want to put out your favorites? Do you want to let everybody know what schools are doing well? There's no rules for it. You can put guys put out lists of 10. Those are my favorites where it's like, I've narrowed it to 10 or maybe it's 15 or whatever it is. Sometimes it's 5. Sometimes it's 3. Sometimes it's like a couple. Feels like Kennedy is down to just a couple, at least now. So let's get that update, and then we'll talk about kind of the fight Texas has ahead of it.
Yeah, it's not too surprising, but Sam Spiegelman on Rivals actually talked to Kennedy, I'm guessing this week, and he listed Texas A&M and Oregon as his top 2 schools. Florida also gets mentioned in this article because he was supposed to go there, but weather botched that, so he'll get back. But I mentioned he hasn't been to Austin in a while. Well, he's been to Texas A&M. He's been to Oregon. It's funny, Chad. About a few weeks ago, I was talking to Actually, I was talking to Jason Howell, my buddy who works for Texags, and when I was talking to him about Kennedy Brown, and I said, hey, I think if I was a betting man, I said I would put my money on Texas A&M, and I mentioned Oregon, and but I said I'm hearing A&M's stranglehold on this one isn't what people think it is, because NIL is going to be an issue, and maybe there's some slight disagreement on numbers right now. So, but he did come out and say A&M and Oregon are kind of setting the pace. Again, I mean, it's early. He hasn't taken official visits. Those will start coming up later this spring. In the summer, that can change things in a hurry. NIL is going to matter in this one. Obviously, he's a dynamic player, so he's going to have big offers. Are those going to be comparable, or is one team going to reset the market for Kennedy Brown? If they are, that may make them tough to beat. But right now, as we kind of get into spring season, official visit season, it's Texas A&M and Oregon that are setting the pace.
Interesting that it's those two schools, because obviously they aren't really known for NIL.
Yeah, a little sense of sarcasm there. Yeah,
that's right. What an interesting way to start here for Kennedy Brown. Okay, so then Texas, obviously, we know how this works. You never stop recruiting a guy just because two schools sort of get out as the favorites. But Jason, we've talked about it on the recruiting show. I know you mentioned it briefly on one of our recruiting shows, but I want to bring it to the 12 o'clock show and the live audience as well here, because there is an interesting connection that Texas just made. And that's why we titled the show talking about maybe there's an ally, maybe there's a secret ally and a voice that can get into Kennedy Brown's head. Tell them about it if they don't know about it.
Well, I mentioned Sark went by Kennedy Brown's school, went by Kingwood before the dead period ended. Well, he met with Kennedy Brown, but sitting side by side him was now Texas linebacker commit Cade Hogg. And Cade and I were talking, and Cade mentioned to me, like, yeah, I'm going to work on getting Kennedy Brown up there with me to all. In fact, he said the day I got that Texas offer. Now, mind you, he didn't commit for like another week almost. Mm-hmm. This tells you he knew where he was going. The day he got that offer, he said, I called Kennedy Brown and said, dude, you need to come up there with me. Wow. So he was working on him before he committed, Chad. So
did he call Kennedy before, like, his mom and dad? Was that
I don't know about that, but yeah. So that tells you, okay, as soon as Cade got that offer, he knew where he was going. But he said, yeah, I'm going to keep working on him, and just chipping away. And I said, well, I think you got your work cut out for you, Cade. It seems like, might be a little bit of an uphill climb. And he goes, yeah, but, I'm just going to keep stacking brick by brick and, get him up there with me. So, that doesn't hurt. Is that going to be the deciding factor in Kennedy Brown's decision? No, obviously not. But knowing that you have a friend, a teammate that's going to be on that roster with you for the next few years, probably, that certainly doesn't hurt. Again, I mean, it's probably down the list of things that are going to be important for Kennedy Brown. I don't think location is going to matter a whole lot, but it's going to be NIL, playing time, relationships, those types of things. And I was going to look back, like my first conversation with Kennedy Brown, Chad, I think it was March of 2025. And at this time, like, I don't even think he was ranked in the top 200 nationally. And I had seen this guy at different events. I'm like, okay, people are missing the boat on him. He's really good, right? And like, I'm looking back at some of the quotes, and he's like, hey, it'd be nice to stay in Texas. If I have to go somewhere else, it doesn't bother me. But I said, do you know what you want to study? That's always an important question to ask these kids, because a lot of them don't. Okay. Mm-hmm. But if they do, and especially if they say business, my ears perk up.
Right.
Then I'm thinking Texas.
Your ears and your horns perk up. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he said, hey, what I want to study is marine biology, interior design, and real estate. And he said, and I don't have this in my notes, but he said, like, I've already started on some like interior design stuff, I think it was, or maybe even real estate. And I remember saying to Kennedy Brown, like, I want to buy stock in you right now. Yes, if I can.
That's a lot.
Here we are 11 months later, and the dude's one of the top players in the country. Obviously, he's got his head on straight, strong academically. So someone's going to get themselves a really good player. Will it be Texas? We'll see. But they do have an ally in Cade Hogg trying to get him up there.
That is interesting. I want to learn all I can about the business of marine biology and interior design and how to tie it all together. That's
I don't know how those two work together, but yeah, and some real estate. Well read. Yes.
It sounds like if you're going to need a beach motif in your house, he might be the guy, right? To go.
He might sell you that house too.
And he might sell you the house too. We're going to get it all figured out. Wow. So Kennedy Brown, badass offensive lineman from Kingwood. And then you've got the linebacker that is now a commit. And so they've got a whole season coming up together, Jason. I mean, Cade Hogg, he could just lay out all the burn orange stuff, wear burn orange every day, subtle mentions, about traditions. And did somebody say Bertha? About Big Bertha? Just plant the seed over and over.
Well, if nothing else, like this is where this could really help. I mean, Cade giving his input, sure, it's not going to hurt. But like in the spring, if Cade says, hey, man, I'm going to do a day trip up to Austin and go watch a spring practice. Kennedy, why don't you hop in my car? We'll get you up there and back.
Yeah, easy. Right.
Yeah, because Texas has had problems getting him on campus really over the last year or so. I mean, he did visit again for a junior day, but I don't believe off the top of my head, I don't think Kennedy Brown came in for an almost positive. The answer is no to any games in the fall. He wasn't at their junior day in January last month. So, if this can help get Kennedy Brown maybe on campus a time or two, that's a big win for Texas.
Yeah, you could even treat him like a scared animal or something and say, you know what? We won't even tell him. We won't even ask him a question. He can just stand off to the side and just kind of watch. And
we won't even give him a name tag or anything.
That's right. Exactly. We won't tell anybody who he is.
Like guest of Cade Hogg. That's what it'll say on there. Yes.
Cade Hogg's buddy. That's all it'll. That is all it'll say. So keep the name Kennedy Brown on your mind if you're a Texas fan. Jason, the other thing I want you to do real quick, give me a comp. Maybe it's a comparison contrast a little bit with Kennedy Brown and Ishmael Kamara, because they seem to be the two offensive line names that we're talking about in 2027. How do you stack those two up right now?
Can't go wrong with either of them. Of course, I got to say that first. But to me, and I hate because I almost feel like I'm disparaging one if I pick one over the other, but that's not the case. I mean, they're both tremendous players, obviously. To me, if you're talking total upside, like who has a higher upside, who to me in 10 years is going to be in first team all-pro player, I think it's Ishmael Kamara. He's bigger. Okay. He's stronger. He's faster. He's new to the game. I mean, Kennedy Brown is good. It's not that Kennedy Brown doesn't have size or strength or smarts or doesn't move well. He has all those things in spades. But Ishmael Kamara is a physical freak. Now, Kennedy Brown's further along in his development because Kamara's played one season of varsity football. Okay, so he's still finding his way a little bit. But Ishmael is, putting in maximum 100% effort to, if people say, oh, he's still rough, he's still raw, whatever. Well, he's got trainers. He works his butt off every single day. Ishmael's about 6'7", I think is what the last update. I'd have to scroll through some old messages. About 340 pounds, Chad, and a pretty lean 340 pounds too. It's not like it's a sloppy 340 at all. Not in the slightest. So, Kennedy Brown, I'm seeing him listed like 6'3.5", 285, and I don't know what the latest 6'7", 340 for Ishmael Kamara. And I've posted videos on Orange Bloods with him running sprints up a 19-degree incline, and some of the footwork stuff he does is incredible. So Kennedy Brown's ranked higher. I get it. He's been to the camps. Ishmael Kamara is going to go to the Under Armour camp and the Rivals camp in Dallas and Houston. I hope Kennedy Brown goes to both so we can kind of see them side by side. I'd love that. Yeah. I don't know that Kennedy went last year, but he doesn't have anything to prove at this point. Neither does Ishmael. But Ishmael, to his credit, he's like, 30th in the country roughly? I don't even remember exactly. But Ishmael thinks, hey, I'm way underrated. So I'm going to show up to these things and prove everybody I am the best player in the country. And you know what? I kind of agree with him. So I'm glad he's showing up. But as much as I hate picking one of those two, I would probably lean Ishmael Kamara just because I think he has physical tools that I really can't remember a guy like that. Maybe Leonard Davis way back when, but Leonard was bigger, but maybe not as athletic as Kamara. So,
right.
It's a tough choice, dude. You're asking me to pick one of my kids. So, and let's, hey, you know what? One day this one's being nicer to me. I like that one. One day I like this one because they're not sassy to me. So, it sounds all.
It sounds like they're both going to be badasses. Real quick, are they both going to be badass tackles for you at the college level?
It's funny. I think so. The answer is yes, because they're so talented and they're so valuable as tackles. But Ishmael Kamara is listed as an interior offensive lineman by these recruiting services. All of them, I think. It pisses Ish off. I know this. He hates it. He's like, no, dude, I'm a tackle. Like every coach is telling me I'm a tackle. Look at the way I move. I'm a tackle. I think people
6'7".
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
And people look at him, and he, a year ago he was 6'4", 370, 380 pounds. So people are like, oh, that's an interior guy. Okay.
I see. Okay.
But now he's 6'7", 340, probably going to continue to lean out a little bit, and he moves exceptionally well. Now, Kennedy Brown is listed as a tackle, but he's 6'3"-ish, 285-ish. That's more guard-like to me. But I do think they're both so valuable as tackles and so good as tackles. I think that's where their long-term projections will be.
Wow, it's going to be wild to see where those two guys end up. All right, so if you're just jumping in, Kennedy Brown, the interest seems to be A&M and Oregon now. But as we point out, Texas will have that interest, will keep recruiting. And it maybe doesn't hurt that Cade Hogg is hanging out with him on a football team and telling him about Texas at every turn. All right, if you guys want to jump in with a super chat, feel free.
This isn't a super chat, but I'm going to put this up from our man Vivek. Just said, Jason, how big was A&M deal to Jaquan Snell, the Waxahachie safety who committed to A&M? Is it $1 million plus? He's a beast. We need to flip him. The answer to that, no, it wasn't what I've been told. It wasn't $1 million plus. He is a beast, though, and Texas would be very wise to flip him, Vivek. But it's a pretty big number, but it's not a seven-figure number. But Jaquan Snell is a fantastic player, and I mean Texas would love to have a chance to get him back on campus and work for a flip for sure.
Yeah, another guy Texas is definitely not going to stop working on, Jaquan Snell. All right, let's start thanking some of our great partners, and we'll start with AV Consultations. Remember, look for Harrison Ford and Blue Streak in the AV consultation spot.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audio Visual Consultations. We've been providing custom electronic systems for Central Texas for more than 36 years. And
old man, I think they all know who you are and what your company does. This is Camilla McKay. The old man believes in big fun and big ideas. He can make dreams come true, so why not dream big? I've been up in Boston, but I know the old man and all his friends and fellow radio heads have been spreading the holiday spirit here in Texas. Why should we stop there? Keep spreading the good feelings all over. Audio Visual Consultations carries all major brands of televisions and stereo equipment at prices you can't find in stores. And you don't have to leave your house. Just like Santa, they deliver the gifts to you.
Yeah, I like that, kid. Throw a party, hang out with your friends, catch a concert.
That's all fun and good, but can we get back to the business? You can give us a call at 512-255-8678 or visit our website at avconsultations.com for some cool electronics.
Oh, now you're forgetting something.
And as always, hug your kids. We only pretend to be annoyed. Watch some games with your friends and make love to whoever the hell you want.
To be perfectly honest, I have no idea if they've actually put a bowling alley in somebody's house. I think that was screens in the bowling alley, but that'd be cool. That'd be cool if
I did not see Harrison Ford. I don't know what Blue Streak is. Is that a Harrison Ford movie?
Blue Streak is a movie with Martin Lawrence and Luke Wilson. And Ketch caught on one of the watches that there's a still shot of that moment. And yeah,
there is a still shot of the Steelers-Bengals game. I noticed that.
So. Look at that. The Steelers fan.
I picked up on, yes.
See, everybody sees something different. It's like a Rorschach test or whatever, or the dress. What color is it, right? Yeah. Everybody sees something different in an AV consultation spot. All right. So we get, see, here's some positivity. UT guy says we can get him if we really want him. Not even sure if that's about Kennedy Brown or Jaquan Snell or who it is, but UT guy, you should feel that way about everybody.
Well, he said they commit for, prior to that comment, he said they commit for the NIL. There is some truth to that, but not always. I mean, Texas is, you and I, Chad, have talked about Brock Williams, the tight end, okay, right out of Illinois. Mm-hmm. We talked about him on the recruiting at length, on the Recruiting Insider. So go check that out if you haven't. But Texas is offering the biggest NIL package. What I've heard, Steve Wiltfong reported the same, but there's a lot of Georgia chatter. I mean, there have been players where Texas has offered the biggest NIL package, and they've gone elsewhere. They've gone to Oklahoma, some other places. So sometimes, I mean, NIL matters, but relationships still matter. I keep telling people this. I don't know why people don't listen. Relationships in recruiting still matter. Location matters, how comfortable your parents are, playing paths to playing time. All these things still matter. Now, if you're offering, let's say Ishmael Kamara, and I'm going to make up a number here, but this is probably what it might take to get him. If you're offering him $1.5 million, and that might be low, if I'm being honest. And if whoever, LSU is saying, hey, we're going to give you $1.7 million, does he say, okay, LSU it is? Or does he say, you know what, 1.5 is plenty. I mean, that $200,000 isn't going to change my life that much from 1.5 to 1.7. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. I mean, NIL is important. Obviously, you've got to be competitive. John Turntime took less money to come to Texas than he probably could have got elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because he had a good relationship. He wanted to be in Austin. He wanted to be close to his siblings. I mean, Texas has won some of those. Texas has lost some of those, too.
I was just thinking there's been the other side, right? Michigan offensive lineman recently in the portal. That defensive line guy, what was his name? Dominic Williams, the one that ended up at Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think.
Didn't Texas offer more there?
I don't think so. I think Oklahoma was a smidge higher there.
They did. Okay, all right.
But Fasusi,
another one.
Texas offered more for Fasusi, and he wound up at Oklahoma just because that's where he felt most comfortable. So, again, I mean, Oklahoma isn't saying, "Hey, come play for free." Michigan isn't telling their portal offensive linemen stay here and play for free, but it's not always only about money.
Yeah. One of the things I would tell people, we always, of course, send you to orangebloods.com. That QR code in the upper left gets you to orangebloods.com. You can sign up, check out all the great content. Jason has so much cool recruiting content, including today's rumor mill that deals with some of the names we're talking about today, including Kennedy Brown and Kate Hogg and some others. But Jason, the article that Cody Carpentier puts out every week, Behind Enemy Lines, is one I would tell people to check out. Kind of looks into some of those other programs that Texas fans would want to know about, the rivals and some of the big programs. And he's got some quotes this week from Jim Nagy from Oklahoma. And first off, Nagy will apparently tell you everything. Like I don't know many people telling you about their recruiting strategies more than him. But it was fascinating to me, Jason, when he got really emphatic about we don't get guys that care about NIL. We get guys that care about the relationship and the culture and all this stuff. And I'm thinking that's interesting because I don't think he's lying, but that also tells me the group of guys he's talking to. You know what I mean? Like there's a group of guys.
He's lying a little bit, Chad, or at least stretching the truth, right?
Yeah, I mean, but there's a group of guys that will eventually get to the money. And if he's telling me, oh, no, we're not having those discussions, I agree with you, Jason.
Did John Mateer go to Oklahoma for free?
No, he's lying a little bit. And then, but there's also the side of it where it's like, you know what? You may not be talking to the right guys.
I mean, again, you got to get your foot in the door and have a relationship before you can have those conversations about NIL. I'll use Easton Royal, the Texas receiver commitment. He's not a portal guy. So it's a little bit different. But, I mean, Texas doesn't have the opportunity to win Easton Royal over. And let's be honest. I mean, I don't know if they've offered him an NIL, but it's been discussed. I can guarantee it. Easton Royal's not committing if it hasn't been. But Chris Jackson, Steve Sarkisian, they did a good job building that relationship with Easton Royal to even build that trust where you can get to the point like, hey, dude, like, if you think you feel comfortable enough here with us in this offense, in this city, in this institution, let's talk some numbers then. You got to kind of get to that point so you can talk to those numbers. So maybe that's what Nagy means. I mean, yeah, you've got to build that relationship, gain their trust, usually get them on campus, even in the portal, and then you kind of start talking numbers. But but portal to me is a little bit different, man. I mean, like,
yeah,
if you're a portal player, you're looking for a place like it was easy for Texas to go into the portal and get linebackers because you know what? Hey, I'm a portal guy. Like, where can I expand my brand and my viewership? The scouts can see me. Where can I make money? Where am I automatically going to be able to probably go in and be an instant starter? Okay, hey, look at Texas. So portal to me is about playing time. You've got to find that first. You got to find the right fit in terms of playing time, in terms of relationships. Then you talk money, then it works out. I mean, if you're not going to a program that has 4 returning linebackers, right, that played a bunch or returning starters, if you're a linebacker, you're just not doing that. So, I mean, I get what he's saying, but I don't fully buy into it.
Yeah, go check out those Nagy comments on orangebloods.com. It is pretty wild. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, Jason. He is the GM of a blue blood historic college football program, and he talks like he's running Oklahoma State for Mike Gundy. It's bizarre to me. It's like a different world when I hear him speak. I'm like, I imagine him sitting there with like an OU shirt on, and it's like, do you know who you're representing here? That doesn't sound right to the Sooner fans.
And then I wonder, like, okay, is someone gonna be like, dude, no. Like, I know that you're new to this still, but you can't do that. You're not running the Senior Bowl or whatever it was. You're not doing that anymore. You got to keep this stuff in house.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, and stop saying all of it. Right? Stop saying every single bit of it. Probably a good idea too. I see that chat, Vivek, on Easton Royal. I'll get Jason to deal with that. That's a good one. Let's get our main sponsors mentioned here. Each and every day at 12, Texas Card House brings you the show, and they also bring you online poker. Get over there. Get your $20 bonus when you sign up. It's hijackpoker.com. That's all you have to do. Hijackpoker.com. There's your QR code. Scan it, get it on any device you want, and get to playing while Ketch is enjoying his so-called personal day today. I'll bet you there's some hijack poker mixed in as well. Also, if you want to go to a Texas Card House location, there are 6 of them. There they are at the bottom. Go in. If you want to get to play on site, just mention Orange Bloods when you check in. You'll get the month of free club membership and 2 hours of free poker play. Thanks to Texas Card House for their great sponsorship. Also, of course, thanks to Specs for their great sponsorship. The chat I'm about to throw up, the super chats that you may be about to send, it all comes from Specs. Remember, Valentine's Day is, 3 days away.
Amour. Love. What does this word even mean? In France, it means wine, champagne, chocolate. Where does one go to find such things? Specs, of course. For the heart of Specs beats with wine for your Valentine, bubbly for your beloved, bonbons for your baby. Ah, Specs knows the language of love and how to keep your francs in your pants. Say enchanté to savings.
Makes me giggle every time. Shout out to Specs. Get stocked up.
The first time I've seen that one. Keep your francs in your pants. I'm assuming she's talking about French dollars, right?
Exactly. They're going to help you
currency, not francs. Like, hey, beans and francs.
No, they're going to help you stay. Keep it cheap.
I know, James. I got a third grade mind sometimes.
We're going to help your finances is what they're talking about there. Real quick chat question here from Vivek. You did mention Easton Royal. Is Easton Royal on Decorian Moore's level?
You know what? That's a really good question, Vivek. Man, I said when Decorian Moore was being recruited, he was a generational type talent. Like I said, Roy Williams was the best I'd ever seen as a recruit, and then Decorian Moore, those two are 1 in 1A, and you could say whoever's 1 in 1A. I wouldn't argue. Man, Easton Royal's right there. It's funny because I look at Decorian, and I've seen Decorian in person multiple times. I haven't seen Easton, I don't think, not yet. That'll change. But I view Easton as a smaller guy because he's just quicker and faster, and Decorian Moore is fast. Don't get me wrong, but he's not Easton Royal fast. But they're both listed at 5'11". Easton Royal's faster. I think Decorian Moore is maybe a little bit more of a natural receiver, and Decorian Moore is an explosive athlete. Remember, he was a state high jump finalist or long jump, finalist, and those types of things. So, is he on Decorian Moore's level? Yes. Would I put him even with Decorian Moore? Just a fraction of a spot below, but that's how good he is. Because if you've watched me, Vivek, and I know you've seen us on other shows, you know how highly I think of Decorian Moore. In my 25-ish years of covering recruiting, Decorian Moore is probably the best receiver I think I've ever seen, him and or Roy Williams.
Wow.
Easton Royal is right there in that discussion. So.
Very cool. Thank you for the question, Vivek. And
I say best I've ever seen. I'm talking about best that Texas recruited. There have been some national guys.
Right.
Okay, that dude's legit, but they're not really on my radar as much.
That's fair. All right, Jason, let me get your reaction to a couple other things we wanted to hit. The combine invites went out for the guys, and 7 Longhorns are on the list. Jack injuries, DJ Campbell, Trey Moore gets an invite. Anthony Hill, no shock, gets an invite. Jalen Gilbo, Malik Muhammad, and Michael Taff on the list. Any thought on the list or who's not on it? One name was blinking to me that wasn't on it, but what'd you think of it?
Yeah, I'm okay with the names that are on it. The Ethan Burke being left off,
there it is,
shocking to me. Yeah,
wow.
I mean, I think he has a better case than one or two of those other players that are on there. I mean, I'm not going to name names and disparage any guys, but like I'm shocked that Ethan Burke didn't get a combine invitation. I know when Alex and Cody were they just at the Senior Bowl? I get these bowls all
yes,
mixed up.
I believe that's right. We just had Senior Bowl,
yeah. Like some of the people there were talking about, man, that guy like is intriguing, right, for NFL teams. So, I'm a little shocked that Ethan Burke doesn't get an invitation. I think he'll still be fine. He'll test well at the Texas Pro Day, but a little disappointing, a little surprising that Ethan Burke didn't get an invitation.
Outside of Anthony Hill, which I think is an obvious, is there anybody you see their name and you think, oh, they could go a little freaky at the combine? They could go show off a little bit.
I'm sorry, I don't have it pulled up. Can you read the names for me one more time, Chad?
Yeah. So Jack injuries, DJ Campbell, Trey Moore, Anthony Hill, and then Gilbo, Muhammad, and Taff.
Yeah, that's interesting because combine, it's mostly about testing, of course. I don't know how Taft's going to play. I don't know that that's his strength or his test, rather. Muhammad, I think you know what you've got in him. Gilbo's intriguing. I mean, Gilbo's he's muscled up and he's just an explosive guy. I don't know that and he might do well in the shuttle, but I don't know how he'll do in the 40s. And maybe he'll surprise. We'll see. I guess if there's one guy on that list, injuries, I'm not sure about. DJ Campbell, I don't think DJ is going to blow him away with his measurables. He'll be strong, but I don't know about his measurables. Trey Moore is intriguing. I could see
maybe,
Trey
that's the one I thought of. Maybe Trey Moore. Yeah.
Of that group, he might be the one where you go, okay, wait, this guy jumped this and ran this. I think Trey Moore might have a chance to surprise some people.
Yeah, and we are with you, Rex. How the hell is Berkeley? I don't understand. And again, somebody was asking about what is the list. This is the combine list, the combine invites, and Ethan Burke does not get an invitation to the combine like that. I have no doubt. I had no doubt anyway he was going to show up and work hard and, in my opinion, make an NFL roster. Maybe a little extra chip on the shoulder or whatever, but somebody's going to see that talent and bring him in.
Yeah, I sure think so. Especially the way he finished the season. You're like, okay, this guy was like a game wrecker at the end of the season. So he put himself on radars. This doesn't help, but I think teams know what they've seen in him. They'll bring him in for workouts. They'll come to pro day. So he'll be fine. But just disappointing and surprising for Ethan Burke.
Yeah. If you guys want to shoot us a super chat, go right ahead. We got another little update for you on the 2026 team coming up. I'm a sucker for a good jersey number story, so we will get to that coming right up. But before I do that, let me thank one of our great partners, and it is Sinus and Snoring Specialist. You might not think of a place like Sinus and Snoring Specialist when you think of Valentine's Day, but I do. I met my wife because of Valentine's Day. We've almost been together 27 years, and one of my favorite moments with us together is when Sinus and Snoring Specialist fixed her snoring issues. I know that's a very technical, non-romantic thing to say, but she was up at over 60. You want some numbers? 60 incidents per hour, meaning 60 times an hour, she would stop breathing. They got that number from the 60s to single digits, meaning she sleeps so much better. She's getting more restful sleep, but it is a healthier sleep. It was a scary sound to hear back in those days, and now we got it taken care of. Sinus and Snoring Specialist can take care of you or a loved one, whoever it is that's dealing with the snoring, sleep apnea stuff, sinus issues. You always have sinus infections. It's driving you crazy. Get that taken care of. Allergies that the Austin area is legendary for, they can get rid of them for good. Check them out for Valentine's Day or any other day. 601-0303. Text them or call them securely on that number, or go to sinussnoringent.com. Feel clear, rested, and healthy with sinus and snoring specialists. Thank y'all for telling them that you heard about it on OB Live. That certainly does help things out. I do appreciate it because they like to keep track of that kind of stuff. So thank you guys very much for that. All right. So, Jason, the update, and I can't wait for more of them because when we get to February, March, whenever they crank open spring ball, one of the first things I do is grab a roster and look at numbers because I want to know. We've been talking about these names, so I want to know, like, okay, what number is Diabell going to wear? You know, stuff like that. But in this case, it's Derek Cooper, the running back stud out of Florida that eventually picked Texas. He's going to wear Bijan Robinson's old number, if you will. Technically, it's also Trey Wisner's old number.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right? Wisner just got it and did okay with the 5. It wasn't maybe not, it wasn't an unbelievable season, but he had a couple really great performances. So Derek Cooper in the number 5. Jason, do they let him wear that number if, he's not going to be a part of things in 2026?
I think so. You know what? He wore number 1 in high school. Okay. So you can't wear 1. Wingo's got it, right? So right. I don't have the roster in front of me. Who's 2, 3, 4? You got to find a number that's available for 1. Is him wearing number 5? Is that an homage to Bijan? I don't know. Or Bijan? I don't know. Or is it just because it's convenient? That's the number that's open. That's the number he liked. I mean, again, Trey Wisner wore it, so it's not like you're coming in and wearing number 10 the year after VY walks off campus, right? So,
right.
I don't know. I know people are getting excited about it. Oh, Bijan, wearing Bijan's number. Well, so did Trey Wisner. So I just think that's probably the number that was available. That he's like, okay, I like low numbers. He's like I said, number 1 in high school. So go for number 5. Now, who knows? Maybe you can carry on that tradition. But yeah, I don't know. You're a Jersey guy. I'm not so much.
Well, you know what they say. You don't want to be the guy that follows the guy. You want to be the guy that follows the guy. So yeah, a little, like you said, there's separation maybe a little bit. And you would love for any Longhorn fan to watch and think of Bijan at all. If there's a guy to mold yourself around in pretty much every way, from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep, when you show up at practice, how you work, how you talk to people, how you treat other humans, go the Bijan route. And I don't think you can go wrong. So number 5 for Derek Cooper. And we'll be looking for the rest of that roster when it hits in spring. All right. One more of our partners to thank here, and we'll get you a little thirsty. In case y'all missed it, a few weeks ago, I showed this picture from Hayes City Store of the Frozen 4. They do frozen margarita flights. They do all kinds of great stuff. Anwar Richardson saw it and said, wait a minute, where's the tahini? I'm a tahini guy. Do they do anything with tahini? I let Travis know, and Travis sent us this. Yeah, they do things with tahini as well. They've got an old-fashioned waiting for Anwar out there if he wants it. They've got multiple beers from all over the state. I think it's up to about 40 now, 40, 45, something like that, on tap from all over the state of Texas, all over the country. Get on out there and check them out, whether you're into the tahini version, the non-tahini version, or whatever else it is. Hayes City Store out in Driftwood has got what you need. FM 150. Go see them. They were out there watching the Super Bowl last week. They've got screens out there, but they just have a great time. Food, drink, it's all perfect. And they've been with Orange Bloods Live pretty much from the beginning, pretty much from day one of my favorite places. So shout out to Travis, Tamara. Tell them you heard about it on Orange Bloods Live. It is fantastic out there. All right. Wow. This is a lot of work. I mean, Money B.
Yeah, Money B comes in as we're wrapping up asking
for a top 10. Who would be your top 10 for UT to go after?
30 seconds, and I can answer that question for him. Money B, you got to ask that question at the top of the show, man.
Let me tell you what. I'll answer the question this way, Money B. If you haven't, I'm assuming Money B is on OB. But for those of you that aren't on OB, go up to that QR code in the upper left, click on it, sign up for orangebloods.com. Because this week in the 321 article, Jason lays out a dream offensive list and a dream defensive list and then a realistic list for 2027. So, Money B, you're going to get that answer plus guys.
But
because I know there's way more than 10.
No, I did a hot 11 like 2 or 3 weeks ago where I ranked, okay, these are my top 11 guys that Texas is going after. And I've got it pulled up. Money B, we're going to go rapid fire just because you're our guy. I'm going to do this for you.
Come on.
Number 1, John Meredith, cornerback. Number 2, Ishmael Kamara, offensive line. I think I might flip-flop those next time I update this hot 11. Number 3, safety, Honor Fa'alave Johnson out of California. Just dropped the top 5 today. Texas is in it. He's going to visit Texas in March. Number 4, Easton Royal, we talked about today. Number 5, tight end Brock Williams, we talked about today. Number 6, Kasai Curry, a defensive lineman out of California, top 5-star-ish type player, visited Texas in January, loves Texas a lot. Number 7, Montre Jackson, the DB, who has Texas on top of his list. Number 8, I'm starting to go Brian Swanson, offensive lineman out of South Oak Cliff, really good player. Texas needs offensive linemen.
Yep.
Number 9, I went with Julian Caldwell, and I was like, I feel like I need to have a receiver on this list. So I went Julian Caldwell. There's a couple other guys I might have to kind of fine tune that. I like Julian Caldwell a lot, but there's 2 or 3 receivers that I have pretty close. Number 10, I went with DB Gabriel Osborne out of Oklahoma. He's a really good player, but I don't know if how strong Texas' chances are. I'll give you one extra. My 11th was Peyton Miller, offensive lineman out of Anna, who's a true center who already has a Texas official visit set up. So, Money B, there is my hot 11 from a few weeks ago. I'll probably update it the next week or two, and there'll be some tweaks on there, but those are some names that I certainly like.
How about that? Money B, you asked for 10, but that one went to 11. How about that? How about that? Thank you, Money B, for jumping in. And he does.
Even I got that reference, Chad. Even I got that movie reference.
Money B says he's going to check out the article. We hope you do. Check out orangebloods.com. You will never want to leave. Jason, one other thing I wanted to mention before we get out of here. I want to talk about one of my favorite Longhorns of all time real quick. I put it in my 2%er post this week. I'm also wearing the Buck shirt today. I want to give a little love to Chris Sims. For those Texas fans that love him, go dig up. It's not a dig, but go find the Amazon Prime has done a 10-part documentary on the Bucks on their 50 years. You don't need to watch it all if you're not a Bucks freak like me. Episode 6 and fast forward till you see Chris Sims. Jason, he goes into more detail than I've heard about when he almost died for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, wow. It's one of my favorite football stories. I didn't realize they got him to the hospital. Jason, he had lost 9 pints of blood. Wow. 9. The human body has 14. Whoa. And you watch Chris Sims tell us that his wife was sent in to say goodbye. Like they didn't know if he was going to live. They didn't know if he was surviving it. And I know the story around Chris Sims for some Longhorn fans is one of like snickering and what went wrong or what didn't happen. He's always been one of my favorites that I've covered. I still hope that one day he could stand at DKR and get the love and get some respect from the whole place and just explode. But watching him get emotional over that, Jason, I have 4 Buck jerseys in this room with me. Doug Williams, Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, and Chris Sims. When I saw the jersey in the store, I told my dad I'm buying that jersey because he almost died for one of my football teams. I'll never forget Chris Sims for that.
What episode?
It's episode 6 of, it's called Raise the Flags.
Okay.
Raise the Flags on Amazon Prime. Man, if that one doesn't make you appreciate Chris Sims a little bit, if you're a Chris Sims hater, if that one doesn't make you love him a little bit, I don't know what to do, man. I'm so glad they got him to go through that story. It was incredible, Jason. Incredible to see.
Yeah, interesting. We'll have to try to give that a watch.
Yeah, great stuff. One of the prettiest footballs I have ever seen fly through the air left the hand of Chris Sims. It's great to see him covering football. It was great to see him and Shanahan on the sideline before the Super Bowl. That had to be a very cool moment for them as well. So shout out to Chris. And if you guys have 10 episodes in you, Amazon Prime has covered the whole history of the Bucks. I'm 6 episodes in. I still need to finish it off, but it is pretty cool for a Bucks fan like me. So thank you guys for dealing with that. At least I know some people will just always have feelings about Chris Sims. Mine are all positive for various reasons. All right. Thank you all for liking, subscribing, getting your notifications. I think it's 222,000 now. I think it's the last number I saw, and still climbing. Thank you guys for all your support. Check out the video section, the short section. Football with Friends going to debut this evening, as it always does. Jason mentioned the recruiting show, Brock Williams and the update there, among some other things. That debuted earlier today at 10 o'clock. So there's always something coming out for you here on Orange Bloods Live. Thank you guys for your support. Again, we wish Ketch all the best on his day off. Somehow we don't believe it'll be a full day off, because it never is.
Ketch just posted a story on orangebloods.com 1 minute ago. I told you. I told you, Chad.
Okay. Now, I will say, though, he at least was realistic today. He said, guys, I'm going to try to take a partial
day off. And he said, I'm going to post a content item. So,
and he said he was going to post, right?
Yeah.
He's just in case any of us were thinking, what a lazy ass. Like, not one person was thinking that, but he still needed to say, I'm going to post something, just so you know. That is Ketch. We love you, Ketch. Hope you have a good a Wednesday. And I hope to see you tomorrow for a Thursday show at noon. Thanks for checking us out. Y'all